I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
It was a defensive exercise.
Yeah, best defense is a good offense. Or is it the other way around?
Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to another edition of Secret Defenders, where I task my guests to defend their favourite movies that are underrated, infamous, or obscure. Welcome back, guys, and welcome to a very special edition of Secret Defenders, where we're going to look at something a little bit different, something that this is not usually in my wheelhouse, but I brought an absolute expert on this subject. Gary Dixon, how the hell are you?
Hi. What's a wheelhouse?
My wheelhouse, my
house of wheels.
My house of wheels it's like a collection. You just have a collection of different wheels from, you got your wheelbarrows, you got your trucks, you got any form of wheels, just like old ones, wagon wheels, all sorts.
A jammy wagon wheel.
Love a good wagon wheel. The jammy ones? So
definitely. A jam wagon wheel.
Oh yeah, they're the best. Were they the blue packet? Was the red?
Yeah,
packet?
and then the red one was the plain one.
But that's confusing to me because it's
red
blue.
Should be jam.
Yeah, red should be jam. It's like it's like the Walker's crisp. Like they do
ready
the opposite.
Salted. Well, what colour salt?
Cheese and onion was
blue.
Blue, but that's usually related to salt and vinegar because of the sea.
Yeah.
And then
And then ready salt was red.
Yeah.
And then don't eat them.
Yeah.
Because they're the worst.
Don't touch them. They're so plain. So I brought you on, Gary, and we're going to talk about. Like I said, I usually talk about weird and wacky films. The last one we talked about on this show was featuring an alien orgy. You should probably watch that.
We all like a good alien orgy.
Don't we all? But yeah, so today we're going to talk about Spice World.
Yes, we are.
The feature film featuring the worldwide phenomenon pop group known as the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
So, and you're a big fan, aren't you?
I am a big fan, a very big fan, since they came out back in the day, back in 96.
Is it 96? Wow.
Yeah, so
long
it's
time
20
ago.
or so years ago. It's a long time.
Wow, yeah. And like listening to, watching the film and kind of listening to the songs again, just like I'm not really the demographic for the Spice Girls, to be fair. I'm not the box that they would be ticking, like, because I was like, I'm not really into that. I was into all sorts of other boy-related rubbish, just
Oasis.
All kind of, even if I was into music, I was probably just reading a Spider-Man comic somewhere, like a loser, like an absolute loser. But yeah, so I brought you on because I'd never seen Spice World. My sister was a huge fan back in the 90s. She had the video game, the very odd video game.
The PlayStation 1, it was great.
Yeah,
they had very big heads.
Massive heads. They just looked like they were like someone who just like
they're like ballooned
their heads.
Yeah,
a little
they're
bit.
like dancing bobbleheads.
Yeah, they were a bit like that. Yeah,
there was literally 0 points to the game apart from making them dance.
Yeah, there was no, and I don't think there was any progression to the game.
No, that was the point of the game. I think it was just to literally follow the steps and make them dance. It was like a very early dance step.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of. Do you remember Parappa the Rapper? Do you remember that?
No, but I feel like I should invest.
Yes, that was kind of like, it was a weird rapping game. It was like the early kind of Guitar Hero type rhythmical games.
Yeah,
those kind of dance machine sort of things. So that was really interesting. But yeah, my sister played all the songs, so I recognise a lot of the songs from the film. At least the choruses, anyway.
Yeah,
big kind of choruses. Wannabe and Two Become One and Viva Forever and all the ones that I was just like, oh my god, I know these, and I haven't heard them for about 20 years.
They filter through into everyone's consciousness. Like even now, like when you hear them, like everyone knows Wannabe. I know that song. Even if they don't know the words, they'll know like Zigga Zigga.
Yeah, even if they don't know that it's by the Spice Girls, you'll probably know.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, there's going to be some people who've lived under a rock, or maybe were born after the Spice Girls phenomenon.
I think if people don't know the Spice Girls, they know the individuals. Like everyone knows Victoria Beckham.
Yeah, he's
Mel B, married Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Ginger Spice. I think when you say Ginger Spice, people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. Let's start before we go on to the film. Let's start right from the beginning. answer me this. Who are the Spice Girls? Just to anybody who doesn't know.
Okay, so the Spice Girls, basically, I'll give you a bit of background.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. So, there was an advert put in the stage way back when saying, we're looking for a band, so we're going to put this band together. Because predominantly at the time, 90s, it was the Britpop. So it was like Blur, Oasis, all that kind of stuff. And then
Pulp, bit of Pulp.
Yeah. It was all that vibe, wasn't it? Especially over here. And then I think in the US, you had a lot of the boy bands. You had like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. We'd had to take that and they kind of filtered through. So I think there was kind of a market. So I think these managers were looking for a band, like a girl band. So 3 of the girls, Mel B, Mel C and Victoria just went along. They got through to a band that was made up. Jerry came along later. She missed the audition apparently and just turned up and showed her face and went, I want to be in this band. And her personality...
Very ballsy.
Yeah. And
I think Jerry.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think now we all know, well, people that do know Jerry, they know her ballsy, bolshy character. It basically just got her into the band. And then I think Emma Bunton joined a little bit later on. She'd gone through stage school when she was young. Yeah. And I think they'd all moved into a house together.
Nice.
And I think in the early days, they kind of lived together, lived in a house. They were kind of moulding this kind of band that they wanted to be. I think they were living in a house for a while, and then the managers that got them together they didn't really like, so they just did a moonlight flit in the middle of the night.
So they just ran?
Yeah, they just literally took all their stuff, left this house, got in a car, and they just literally went to all these management companies and were like, you need to sign us, we're going to be the next big thing.
Had they signed a contract with that particular person? Or?
I think they signed some kind of contract, but I don't think it was official enough to kind of keep them within that.
I think it wasn't like legally binding.
I think they went around a few people, and then they got Simon Fuller, who ended up being their manager, and I think they kind of signed him out of whatever contract they were in.
Okay, yeah.
And then, I think in 96, they released Wannabe.
Yeah.
And then
the rest is history, yeah. I think so.
Wannabe blew up.
Now, you're a touch older than me, aren't you? Just a little bit.
To be ageist.
No, just like statistically speaking.
Yes, I'm 36.
36. So I think you were probably more of the kind of age where, like, how old would you have been when the Spice Girls were in their zenith?
I was 14 when they came out,
14,
and I think they were kind of around like 3 to 4 years. 2 years was when they were at the big. So early teens. I'm
probably about 10, maybe. I guess 8, 9. So I probably wasn't like your experience of the Spice Girls is probably quite different to mine.
Oh yeah, because they were in my teen heyday. I think I was 14, 15. I was kind of just coming into my own.
Yeah.
You kind of start looking at the world and seeing things and deciding what you like.
Yeah.
And
what you're into.
Yeah, and the
what you're a
Spice
fan
Girls.
of.
Yeah, and the Spice Girls just kind of. They literally came like a whirlwind out of nowhere. Like, one minute they weren't there, the next minute the whole world knew what Spice World was.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
it became a Spice World.
Well, it was. It was just like a travelling family, and everyone was invited. Like, they just grabbed the nation. They really just got hold of. I think there was just a point in the market, and there was something in the country at that time.
Some void that they filled,
and they definitely filled it. Yeah, and
amazing.
it was phenomenal. It was crazy, like what they achieved, what they did in such a short space of time. I think people didn't realise that their zenith. They were around for about 4 years. Initially, roughly, but it was 2 years when they were at their. Like
their height of their powers.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, there was the 90s were quite a turbulent time. There was a lot of change. I think the other day when we were speaking about this, you were talking about like New Labour was coming in.
Yeah, because I think there was a whole kind. Yeah, because it was New Labour as the things can only get better, and it was we'd come out like
we're going to change. Everything's going to be changed. Everything's going to be better.
Yeah, because you'd had the 80s.
The millennium is coming.
Yeah, because you'd had all the bad stuff that had happened, and then the 90s. So it was all like reinvention and new. And I think the Spice Girls just came at a time when like I said, the millennium was coming up, so things were all going to change as well. And they just really caught the nation.
Yeah, I think you were telling me the other day that they were, or today even, that they broke America, which is not an easy thing to do either.
Yeah, I mean, I think to put it in context, like, because people think, the Spice Girls, whatever, but I do have a few facts.
Okay,
so I think we need to put into context how big they
were. How popular they were.
So they've sold over 80 million worth of worldwide record sales. Jesus. They are the biggest selling girl band in the UK. Their first album Spice, and their first single Wannabe, and the Spice World are the top biggest albums that there have been by a girl band.
Really? Wow.
To now.
Yeah.
They had 9 UK number ones, 6 collectively in a row. Wow. They had 3 Christmas number ones. So Wannabe, like we said, it was released in July of 96. Sold over 7 million copies worldwide, and it was the biggest selling debut single by a girl band. Made it to number 1 in America, which was never done ever.
Never happened.
And it also made it to number 1 in 22 countries countries.
Yeah.
The debut album Spice sold 23 million copies, and it was number one in over 17 countries.
Jesus.
Spice World, the follow-up album, sold 13 million and went to number one in 13 countries. And their tour at the height of their success in 98 sold out 58 days from across the world and made over 60 million, which at the time is quite a lot. So I think
that's huge.
When you think about it, statistically, what they did, they were massive.
They were huge.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you think about their personalities, their skills as performers or writers or, musicians, you've got to respect those kind of numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, no matter what, that's crazy. Those are crazy numbers.
And they haven't been matched since by a girl group. I mean, I know you get some good girl groups now, but they really just took it to another level. And I don't even think they.
Well, that's another band.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The Victoria worked with Dean Bowers.
Oh yes, the Marvel team up that everybody wanted.
Yeah,
churned out not so great a song.
Number 2. Oh yeah.
How did that go? I can't remember.
You're out of your mind.
Oh, that was it. Oh, it was all auto tuned.
Yeah, it got to number 2.
God,
Bless
that was
Victoria.
awful.
She didn't get her number 1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't sing that well.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna. That's about the limit I'm gonna do for you.
Do you have a favourite song by the Spice Girls?
Oh, see, I like them.
Is that hard?
Yeah, because I like them for different reasons. Obviously, everyone loves Wannabe because it was huge and it was the thing that got them started. I remember the first time I saw Wannabe, it was this one of them digital channels called The Box. You know, you used to phone in for your videos that you used to see on one of these Sky channels that you used to have.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And I saw that for the first time. And I just remember it was like these 5...
I mean, something called The Box nowadays might be something else entirely.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
one of those phone lines you call in.
God, yeah.
Hello. Kind of babe station thing.
I didn't see them on that, although Jerry, did a bit of...
she did a bit of glamour photography.
Back in a day.
Yeah. And there's a few gags in Spice World that kind of allude to that, don't
they do nod to it. I think it's very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But you don't have a particular... There's not one that kind of prefer to dance to, or is the one you like to kind of sit and mellow out to? Or...
Again, I think it's all different, because like I said, when Wannabe happened, it was just huge, and it was these 5 girls running from a hotel, just being crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that video is really in your face as well. It's literally like a kind of a steady cam, isn't it? They're kind of running, and they're all they're jumping into the camera, almost headbutting the camera.
It was made to look like it was one take, but it was done in 2. But it was essentially follow you around, and I mean, I think it was done pretty fast. I don't think there was.
Yeah, it looks like kind of guerrilla filmmaking, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was, and they were wearing their own outfits. There wasn't any stylist there. It was just them being them. So I remember seeing that and thinking, wow.
That's very kind of that's like independent film, isn't it? You've got to kind of grab people's attention. I think it obviously it really did. And the music as well.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it was just... I saw it, and then they were just everywhere. Because when I went to number 1 here, they were already in Japan, promoting it in Japan.
Of course they were. Everybody's big in Japan. Literally everything is a big in Japan.
Wannabe's always everyone loves Wannabe, and I think it's the one that everyone remembers. If you say Spice Girls, say Wannabe. But then I think you had Who Do You Think You Are? Which is a great one to go dance to. And again, the Brits, everyone remembers Jerry Halliwell in the Union Jack dress.
Yeah. I mean, it's blazoned over their big bus as well.
Yeah, and oh, bless her. Good old ginger hair, bosoms.
I mean, yeah. Do you think nowadays we're living in a very kind of feminist world, women fighting for their rights and being in places of power, being in creatively. There's Big Little Lies on Sky is, written, produced, directed purely by women and things like that. The music industry, and we've obviously had a lot of kind of horrible kind of goings on in the music industry and the film industry is kind of prevalent to that as well. But do you think they did something for this new wave of feminism?
Yeah, definitely. I think they paved the way. I mean, I think obviously there were feminists before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think
they didn't originate girl power.
Yeah, I mean, I think they coined it and they very much threw it into the public agenda.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I think girl power. Yeah, it was just because that's all you heard, wasn't it? Girl power, and they were promoting this message. And I think they just encouraged young teenage girls to go out there and be yourself. I think because, like I said, you'd had all these boy bands and people, and girls were fancying them, and guys or whoever.
Yeah, want to be them. Or...
But I think they were these were 5 girls who just came from normal backgrounds. Mel B was from Leeds, Joe was from Watford.
Yeah.
These were just normal people who just kind of had a dream to make it big, and they said, we're going to do this. We're going to push this as far as we can. We're going to be ourselves. And I think that's what people picked up onto. I think it's actually, these girls can do this. They can push themselves out there. They can make these dreams happen.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't encourage girls to be out there in a negative way. They didn't sexualise themselves too much. They were very tongue-in-cheek with their sexuality.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of...
It was almost in the film, it's very much like a kind of carry on situation. It's always like, oh, matron, that
yeah,
kind of
definitely.
that kind of British tongue in cheek.
And I remember they used to say
raunchy.
Yeah. And I remember when they said, like, you know, they said to girls, if you want to go and wear a booty top, then you go and wear one. But you don't have to do it for the boys. You got to do it for yourself because you want to feel good about yourself. Yeah. You know, you don't have to be pleasing other people because if you're strong and you're together. And I think they actually promoted this togetherness and, you know, girls standing up for each other. It wasn't, you know, like girls picking on each other. They weren't like put each other down. They were actually put each other up. Girls,
raising
like,
each other
get
up.
together and do it. And again, I think it filtered into, you know, like, I think like the film touched on, you know, like, they were in, I suppose, at the gay bar.
It's quite, you know, like, quite prevalent gay bar.
You know, and it's the Spice Girls in the gay community, like, are up there.
Huge, I can imagine, yeah.
You know, as a gay person myself, they had a very big impact on, you know, me growing up as a teenager. Especially at the time for myself. Like, I was 14, I hadn't come out then, and they're like, like I said, with these girls are like, you know, be strong, be who you are, be confident.
Yeah.
You know,
don't let anybody judge you.
Don't let, you know, you can be who you want. And I think I definitely fed into that, and I definitely felt that. And again, I think the reason why Spice Girls have such you know, a drive towards them or such passion about them because they represent a time in my life where I did go through a lot of change and I came out during the Spice Girls essential, like, you know, the biggest time.
During their time,
and like, again, it's the message that they had. It was like, you know, you can be strong, you can be who you are. You don't need someone to tell you can't be you. And I know I think a lot of my friends who are similar age as me, we all had the same kind of memories of the Spice Girls. We were like, you know, there were these strong girls telling you to be confident. You know, like, I think when we were watching the film, we hinted that Jerry's look was kind of very drag-esque. It was very over the top.
It's good, like, she's got very thin kind of eyebrows, almost like painted on eyebrows.
Like the makeup
and the hair.
The hair's bigger, the boobs are bigger, everything's, you know, and
very glamorous,
Yeah, and again, I think, you know, obviously I can't speak for every gay person, but I know a lot of my friends, and I know for myself, they definitely helped me through a time when actually, back then, it wasn't as okay to be gay as it is now. Like, when I was in high school, like, I got picked on, I got bullied, you know, I got bottled on a bus once, I got spat on in the street, so... That was still at a time when people were starting to come under more understanding. Like, I remember being at school and I think I had like a Spice Girls badges on my bags and stuff, and like my headmaster took me into the office once and was like, "We've never had a gay person in school. We've never had anyone do this before, so we don't know how to react." I mean, I think the only thing was just let me not do games. I was like, just get me out of games, let me not do that.
I don't want to change.
I don't want to change in front of everyone.
I don't want to change in front of all the other boys.
I don't want all that going on.
Fair enough, yeah. To be fair, even if you were straight, there's still always...
No one wants to do that.
Everyone's like, they're always like, when I was at high school, they were always like, right, everyone get in the showers. Literally, no one would go in the showers. And if you did go in the showers, they would make fun of you, pop their heads over, and go, oh, look at your tiny knob, you know, things like that.
What school did you go to?
I'm from Blackpool, mate.
Blackpool.
Rough as shit.
One word.
Exactly. So it didn't. In that way, everyone thought everybody was gay, and everyone worried that everyone might be gay or something like that. But yeah, that must have been horrendous around that time.
I kind of like gloss over it now because I think times moved on as an adult, but I think at the time it was hard. Yeah. But then again, you've got these, you know, 4 girls who are representing you and they're representing your community, and they're saying, no, you can be proud, you can do this, you can be yourself. And I think they really just, again, they gripped a nation, and I think they just gave a message that people needed to hear. I think people needed a sense of community, people wanted to be together. We were going, you know, we were heading towards the millennium. Yeah. The world was going to change, you know, we had the millennium, everyone was going to change, and I think that they were just kind of spearheading the way for it, and I think they did.
And I think that's really quite kind of responsible of them as well, because they had this fame, they had this popularity. However, they could have just easily just sat back, played it safe, and just raked in all that money. Yeah. But they had a message, and since the whole country was in love with them, why not promote a message of kind of peace, understanding, equality? And
I think
why not?
And they never hid who they were. I mean, they were very honest. Like, you know, they always said, like, we're working class girls. Yeah. You know, we've come from backgrounds. We've, you know, we know what life's like. We've not had it handed to us on a plate. Yeah. You know, and I think they never apologised for being themselves. No. And I think that fed into their music, and it fed into the way they were. I think they all had a different personality. Yeah.
And I think that's probably what kind of separates them from kind of a regular kind of boy band or girl band, or even regular kind of just like musicians and stuff, because you could tell them apart. They're all very distinct. They all had their own style, their own dress, and like you said, their own personality, and kind of shines through.
Yeah, and I think people could identify. I think there was one, it was who's your favourite Spice Girl? Who do you identify with? Remember, like in magazines, there used to be quizzes like, which Spice Girl are you?
Yeah, it's like Sex and the City. Are you a Carrie? Or
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of
and I think everyone had their favourite, and everyone wanted to be like a certain one. A lot of the younger girls wanted to be Baby Spice, the pigtails. Because like the names originally came along, they didn't have like the baby sporty ginger posh. Who have I missed?
Scary?
Scary.
Scary,
Scary
sporty, ginger, baby, posh.
Yeah. So it was originally a magazine in the UK, Top of the Pops magazine, and they had a centerfold, and it was the spices. On a spice rack, and they had their face on each one, and they had like scary, sporty, ginger, posh.
Oh, all right.
Did
they know that? They must have known their names. They must have known their like actual names.
Of course.
But these were like nicknames.
Yeah. I think it kind of fitted their personality.
Yeah.
You've got Emma Bunton, Baby Spice. She was like the
young bubbly one.
Victoria, posh. very elegant.
Yeah.
Mel C, sporty. Mel B, scary, loud, and Jerry, ginger was the hair. I think they fed into that. I think they were elements of themselves. I think it was a parody of them, but I think it was more of an extension of themselves. It wasn't fake. It was them, and they were them people, and we could all kind of see ourselves in one of them. We all like to identify as, I remember like chats, I'm more like Ginger and you're a bit more like Scary, but I've got a bit of this in me, and well, I'm sure some guys are like,
Depends what you're one of the main things that kind of like what drew me to like the Spice Girls to my attention more was I was in primary school. I was kind of coming to the end of primary school, and there was a girl I quite liked in primary school, and they would always put on these kind of, they'd like do a dance and like sing to the Spice Girls, and they would all be like one of them. And the girl I really fancied was like Scary Spice, and she was like, must have been like 6-7 inches taller than me, and I was just like, just like an absolute kind of glamazon kind of. I was very attracted to her, so I was like, Spice Girls are all right now, I think. They'll do.
I think everyone liked them. I think they had an appeal to everyone. I think like mums liked them, dads liked them, because they're like looking at the women, the young boy. Everyone liked them. I think, and that's what I mean. I think they had that universal appeal, whether you like the music or not. And you knew who they were because they were everywhere. Like you couldn't literally look anywhere without seeing the Spice Girls. They literally ingrained themselves, especially in the UK.
Oh, definitely.
They promote. They did Walker's Crisp, they did Impulse, they were just Pepsi.
Big one. Yeah, Pepsi was a big one. I remember there was like an ad, and they're kind of flying around or something, kind of like superheroes, all kind of in black leather.
Like there was just.
I remember one of the videos was them in the desert, and they're throwing like weapons at this kind of glass stuff.
That was the video.
Oh, was that the video?
Yeah.
Was that the same video?
No, the same over there.
Oh, okay, no, you're right. No, you are right.
So that was the second one,
But you're the expert, not me. That's why I've
It was the video.
That's all I've got. Actually, Dan, I think you'll find it was that video.
It was,
It's fair enough. You were talking about identifying with the Spice Girls. Did you identify with a particular one, and why was that?
Yeah, Jerry. I think she was just so confident and so self-assured, and there was just something about her that really drew me to her. I mean, obviously I like the red hair. I was natural ginger.
Natural ginger, fair enough.
But I think she just really, she knew who she was as a person, and she didn't apologise for who she was, and she was very articulate with her words, and she was very smart, and I think she was the driving force behind the band. I mean, I know they all had their input, and I don't think the band would have been one without the other, but I think she definitely pushed it to another level of where it needed to be.
She just seemed like a natural kind of marketer, promoter. Kind of. She seemed very quite verbose.
She was, and I think especially for me, I was a teen. I was a very quiet teenager, so when the Spice Girls came out, I was that little nerdy guy who stayed at home playing on his games, read books, didn't really have any friends, and I think she had the attributes that I kind of wanted in myself. She was like.
So it's almost like you didn't necessarily identify.
But I saw qualities in her.
You wanted to be like her.
And again, I think like the whole Brits performance, like when they, it's iconic now. It's been voted as the most iconic performance of the Brits.
Really?
I kept saying like, she was there with this Union Jack dress, out front, out proud. She made that dress she had like a Gucci dress. And she got tea towel. Actually, no, probably a bit bigger than tea towel,
Yeah.
but it was a towel. They just sewed it onto the front.
Really? Was that it?
Yeah, and now it's like, I think, and especially with the Spice Girls, that is one of the synonymous images when you say, think of a Spice Girls image. It's iconic now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's ingrained into, especially in the UK.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
ingrained now. I think to just see this woman who was strong and she was proud and unapologetic and so articulate and so confident, and she openly admitted she wasn't the skinniest person, she wasn't the best singer, but she had heart and she believed in herself. And
Passion. She had a lot of passion.
And I think that's definitely what I fed into as a person. And I think the Spice Girls I love, but I have a secret spot for Joey because I think she was the one that helped me as a gay person.
Yeah.
She was the one that I, looked to and I wanted to be like, and I identified with, and I just felt the draw there too. But obviously I like them all.
Of course.
Mel C was an amazing singer.
Yeah. She's definitely, I think Mel C's definitely got the best voice.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Without a doubt.
She has got
Without
a great
a doubt.
voice.
Yeah.
My sister always loved Mel B. I think she loved, she wanted the big hair.
Yeah.
I remember my sister buying the shoes because back in the 90s.
God,
I think
yeah.
the Spice Girls, again, shoes, they had
Massive
these
shoes.
platforms.
Yeah.
With like
Well, in the
6-inch
movie, they're wearing these, like you said, 6-inch heels or like these big clubby kind of like almost like Danish clogs or something.
I remember my sister used to fall over in them so many times. I think my mum binned them. I think she went out once and I think my mum was just sick of them and she threw them away. I remember her going, I'm sick of these, because she always used to she used to wear these dresses, again, trying to dress, she was older than me, but she was trying to dress like the Spice Girls. She wore these, I think I remember going into a club once because she loved Mel B, and she had this leopard skin top and she had a pair of like leggings or something, but she put her leopard skin knickers over her leggings and went out like that.
Okay.
And I remember my mum just like, I've had enough of this. And I remember she threw the boots in the bin and then we were never to speak of it again.
I mean, it's a unique look. I mean, I've seen stranger looks.
But again, I think it's that thing, it was dress how you want, do what you want. It's like, if people laugh at you, just walk on by, you know.
If your bubble happens to be a sports sock, why not?
Yeah, I mean, they had a song called Do It, and it was basically just like, be yourself, you know, if you do whatever you want to do, be confident, be proud of who you are. And I think that filtered through, and it caught me. I mean, the sales in itself kind of.
I mean, to be honest, if you look at the fashion world, anyway, there's some weird choices going on.
And
there.
if you look at the 90s, anyway, like when we look back at fashion now, it's like
true.
Although it's trendy again now. So.
Yeah, it's back. Well, I mean, I still think we're rolling high on the kind of 80s stuff at the moment, I think, a lot.
No, but 90s.
Is it 90s coming? Is it creeping back?
I mean, we don't have the hair, but like 90s,
exactly.
90s hair's
I know
back
nothing
in,
of fashion.
a lot of Adidas wear. I mean, I know Adidas has never gone out, but like Billabong and
oh god, yeah.
Just like t-shirts and
Kappa,
grungy gear, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's very in now.
A lot of brands. I think most of them probably went out of business, but they probably, or maybe not out of business, but they're probably still about, but in a smaller capacity than what they were, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, it's such like those stats you were reading off, kind of shocking to me as well. Like I knew, obviously, I'm aware. I lived through the Spice Girls. It sounds like a war or something.
Yeah, I mean, for some people it probably was. I think there was probably a lot of people that couldn't wait to see the back of the Spice Girls.
They're like, when's real music coming back? But again, like you said, they made an impact, like huge, paradigm shift.
And they did things that like you weren't supposed to. Like when they met Prince Charles, they kissed him on the cheek and pinched his bum. Like they didn't follow any protocol. When they met Nelson Mandela, like they'd fed so much into the culture. They met the president in America, and again they broke America,
and they got away with it because of these kind of big personalities they had.
It's because it was them.
If it was anybody else, if it was Donald Trump walking up and pinching Prince Charles's arse, well, maybe not so much.
But again, it was like, I think the second album was called Spice World, and we were all invited to the Spice World. It was this bubble, and everyone could come along for the ride. And I think we all did. I think for Spice Girls fan, we took that ride with them and literally went full pelt. Yeah.
This film was kind of, like we were talking about, their zenith, their height of their powers. So what kind of happened after that? What was...
So the film came out, so it came out at Christmas of, I think it was 97?
That sounds about right.
So it came on the zenith, and then they were riding high. It was off their second album, and again, super confident. Later in the year they got rid of their manager, Simon Fuller was the manager.
Okay.
Kim Fuller was the co-writer of the film with the Spice Girls, so she was the one that actually wrote the film along with them.
Okay.
Although apparently she didn't let them see any of the scripts.
Okay.
Which would probably, you might say could be evident when you watch the film.
Yeah. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
So I think they got rid of Simon Fuller, and again, it's this brand of girl power. Like, we can do it. We don't need this man.
Yeah.
Who's
telling
us what to do.
Yeah.
We can take control of ourselves.
Yeah.
They started their Spice World tour. The biggest tour that they'd had. They'd done all of the UK. They were going around Europe, and then in May, Jerry left the band.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember.
So how did that make you feel as a huge fan of Jerry and Spice Girls and the Spice World?
So she left on the officially left on the 31st of May.
Right.
They were due to do a performance on the Lottery two or 3 days before. I can't remember the exact dates. And 4 of them came out, and they were like, "Oh, Jerry's not well. Get well soon, Jerry. We hope you're back soon." And then on Monday, a solicitor on the doorsteps saying Jerry has left the band.
Wow.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
I think it was just kind of like this whole bubble that I've been in. And I think because Jerry was the one who I invested in or looked up to the most.
Like if anybody else had left, do you think you would have been as devastated?
No, not at all. No. To me, it's like, because she was the band for me. Like, even though I liked them all, Jerry was the one that made it. And I was just literally devastated. Like, I felt crushed.
It was a very. I remember when I moved to primary schools, there was a very similar vibe because Robbie had left Take That.
Yeah, and they had helplines and stuff.
Yeah, it was
people were threatening to commit suicide.
Yeah, exactly. They were absolutely devastated.
I mean, I wasn't that bad, but I just remember feeling like, I think Adele said this once. I think I heard her say it recently, but it was the first time I knew what heartbreak really felt like. Like, even like it was.
So that's what all the songs are about.
Like, now we know it was Jerry leaving the Spice Girls. Yeah, it was. I just felt really crushed, and I think it was just, it rocked me a bit. It proper did. Like, at the time, I was really like devastated, and I think more because I was due to go to the concert later in the year, because obviously they were going to go to America and then come back and do the finale of the concert at the stadiums. Sheffield was for here because obviously there weren't as big a stadium, so it was Sheffield and Wembley. So because that was my first ever concert as well.
Right,
I've never been to a concert, so Spice Girls was my first, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally going to get to see Jerry. And again, so when she'd gone, and there was and it was just, again, it's that uncertainty, isn't it? Like, I've been riding this Spice World, and then all of a sudden it's like, what's going to happen? As the driving force?
Like you said, she's the driving force. Now she's gone. Will they kind of limp on? Will they?
I mean, they did do successfully for a while. Yeah. They continued to finish the tour. They did a Christmas concert tour in the UK. They had a few more number 1 singles afterwards. So they did well. But I think when Jerry left, that spark had gone. Yeah. They were just kind of, and I think it's sad now because I think I've watched loads of interviews of why Jerry's left, and I just remember saying, and it really, I don't know, she said like the cogs were spinning whether it was there or not, and she just felt like she had to get off. She felt like Ginger Spice had become a parody, and she didn't actually know who she was, and now
she was playing a character.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was elements of her, but she felt like Ginger Spice was bigger than Jerry Halliwell. Yeah, and I think that's where she was just like, it was gonna have, the Spice Girls were gonna continue to do whatever they were gonna do, whether she was there.
I mean, nowadays we talk a lot about kind of, I've done kind of acting and tours and things like that, and I know the kind of stress of performance and being on the road and not necessarily getting on with the people you work with, but you have to do it. And we talk nowadays about kind of mental health, and there was a point when I was touring at one point. There was a point where I was basically being bullied by the other members of this troupe, and I kind of sat a line in the bath one day and just was like, what if I just drowned? It was a fucking scary moment for me, but I was literally being insulted, abused, hit, all sorts of stuff were going on that tour, and it was horrendous. And it was supposed to go on for 6 months. Jesus Christ, I'm glad I only did 3. I only did 3. But the second I was like, what if I just drowned? I don't think they'd even care. And at that point I was like, right, out the fucking bath. Get out of the bath. I'm out of the bath.
And I think she did it on impulse, because obviously I've watched interviews later, and I think she was just in that mindset where, like I said, it was happening whether she was there or not, and I think she was just like, I'm done. Yeah. And I think after being heartbroken, I was really, again, empowered by it, because it was girl power again. She was embodying that thing as it's brave to, at the height of your fame, to walk away from something that's huge and say, actually, this doesn't work for me right now.
No, exactly.
And to take
I'm not
away,
happy. It's okay to say I'm not happy, and to step. I think there's a lot of talk about people going, "Oh, you're a quitter," or you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't leave, and that's not the case. If it's not right for you, you do have the right to walk away, and you do have the right to stop whatever you don't want to do.
No, definitely. And I think for her to do that is a braver thing than actually staying. I mean, I think initially she said, like, when they talked about the band, they were only going to do it for 2 years. I think, the pop fame's fickle. I think they said, we're going to do this for 2 years. We're going to do it as much as we can.
Yeah. Go all out.
And I think she'd had a conversation earlier in the year saying, when this tour ends, we're going to finish at Wembley. We're going to kind of go out on a high. Yeah. And, I dispute it now, but I think at the time she told them, like, when this tour's over, I'm going.
Yeah.
But then I think she just hit a wall, and I think I think now we hear about she had eating disorders and there was mental health, and
exactly,
I think different girls had different issues and stuff. So, but at the time, like, it just rocked my world, and I think it changed because I was like.
Were you angry at all at her for leaving?
No, I was just upset. I was devastated that I wasn't going to see her. Like I said, she hasn't died. Like, she was still this person.
True, yeah.
And I mean, she came out the following year, and she had a solo album out. She
did very well, from what I remember.
She did. She had 4 #1 singles in the UK.
There you go.
She covered It's Raining Men.
That was huge.
So, like,
what was that? It was for a film, wasn't it? That one. Was it for?
Was it for Notting Hill?
Love Actually.
Love Actually,
something like that.
I mean, she's had the most #1s as a solo artist.
Out of all
of the Spice Girls, I mean, I'd say Mel C's probably had the best musical career, but at the time, straight after,
she's done a lot of kind of musical. I think she's done a lot of musical theatre. She did Blood Brothers for quite a while.
I mean, they've all done well collectively since.
Like, Victoria Beckham, massive.
I mean, on her own, her and David Beckham, they've got a net worth of like 250 million.
There you go.
So I was looking earlier, I think collectively the Spice Girls are worth over 400 million.
She sneezes, in her daily life. That's £250,000 or something like that. Something silly.
Fair play to her. Yeah. Like, I think she'd be the first to admit she wasn't also the best musically talented, but I mean, she's a brand like Beckham.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
Victoria Beckham.
Like, even if you don't know the Spice Girls or her past, Victoria.
And I guarantee you, people didn't know the Spice Girls, even though I love Jerry. And I think if you say Victoria Beckham, everyone will know who she is. Or if you say David Beckham, they will know Victoria Beckham. So,
but I think they all, for the most part, I think they've all done well on their own. I think they've followed kind of Jerry's kind of. I mean, she trailblazed her own path after leaving, and I think they all kind of followed suit to some degree with some success. But they all seem to have done pretty well. Some of them are like Mel B's judging all these different kind of musical shows and talent shows and things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we've thought about Mel B. Recently. Yeah, she got married and she'd had that abusive relationship. She reportedly lost all the money that she earned. Jesus. She dated Eddie Murphy. She's got kids with Eddie Murphy. I mean, she's very big in the American public eye now.
Yeah.
She's done American Idol. They're all in their own way. They're all famous. Yeah. I think nostalgia, and we all like to see them together. But
true. Is Emma Bunton? She does kind of radio. Is it Heart Radio?
Yeah, she does Heart Radio. Again, absolutely fabulous. She's doing Absolutely Fabulous Lows, and that's a British institution in itself.
Well, what's her name?
Jennifer Saunders.
Yeah, she's in the movie. Yeah, she speaks to
Victoria. Yeah, Emma's. Yeah, she's done a few things. Yeah. And she married him because there was a boy band at the time called Damage.
I think it
was way back. Yeah. I think they did a song called "Love to Love." That was it.
No,
that was the only song I remember.
Now I know obscure comic book characters, but I don't know obscure pop
from the 90s. Obscure pop. Oh no,
that's your niche.
Yeah,
that's your niche.
It's a very
Damage. I mean, I could tell you about a character called Damage from a comic book, but I can't tell you about the band.
Well, she married him, and she's still married to him. So, amazing. And like Jerry now, she's Jerry Horner.
Yeah,
so she married the racing car guy.
Yeah,
I forget his name, but
yeah. Wow. I guess I've not really heard much about Jerry. No, Jerry's not really been in the limelight so much recently that I can think.
I think she's become like a lady of lady of leisure.
Yeah, fair enough.
She's become that.
She's done the work. She's put her time.
Yeah, she's done a graft. She's a very British lady nowadays, isn't she? Like the days of Union Jack wearing dress Jerry. Yeah. But I mean, again,
glamour photography. It's all behind her now.
But again, like they got back together this year.
Yeah.
Like, they
Amazing.
had a UK stadium sellout tour.
Yeah.
It broke Ticketmaster sales for the quickest selling tickets on there. They earned about 50 million, supposedly. I haven't done the actual math, so don't quote me on it, but around about 50 million for this tour. I mean, they did it without Victoria.
But she probably doesn't need to do
she
that,
doesn't need to,
like you say.
But again, it's the legacy of the Spice Girls, isn't it? It's
Everyone would have liked to have seen her there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sure.
And I think she is still part of the Spice Girls, whether you've seen them with them or not. I mean, there's talks about them doing Glastonbury next year.
Nice.
20
like a one-off.
years. Yeah, like all 5 of them again.
Yeah.
So I think, but yeah, like, because I saw them this year, and I got to see Jerry finally.
Yay! Finally, full circle.
Yeah, and again, Union Jack dress. She had a Union Jack, like, Queen's outfit, like...
wow, like a kind of a...
Yeah, like the ball gown and
nice,
the tiara, so... Nice. I got to fulfill my Jerry. I got to see Jerry live.
Am I right in I was just you saying that about the ball gown there? It just reminded me of Elton John. Am I right in saying that is Jerry the godmother to his child?
Do you know, I would have to look that up. I think
it's something like that because I know he's very close.
She was very close. Yeah, because obviously I think when Jerry left the Spice Girls, she I think she definitely got a lot of help because I think she became friends with Robbie Williams. They had a little thing. You know, she became very good friends with George Michael.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think when she was younger, she had a crush on him.
Yeah,
and she always said she wanted to meet him, and then she ended up staying. She went and lived with him over the summer,
and then she went, oh, right.
Well, I can be his friend. Like, if I can't date him, I'll be his friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she stayed with him a lot over the summer after leaving the Spice Girls when all that was going on to, let all that die down. Yeah, we're talking about her leaving, like, when she released a book a year or so after. I can't read it without crying.
Really?
Even now, like, I mean, it's her ages ago, but I think the way she talks, and
is it full of like hurts and?
Yeah, I think she just talks about, she talks about life and how she got to Spice, and then she just talks a lot about the feelings afterwards, and how she felt alone and everything was going on around her, but she felt like she had to get off and
like we said, like you weren't particularly mad at her for
no,
leaving.
I was proud of her.
Yeah, and I think that was really good. But I reckon there's a lot of fans out there.
Oh yeah, of course.
That were like, you've ruined the Spice Girls. How dare you? You've ruined this girl power image.
And I think
going off on your own, making your own money.
Yeah, because when she left, they were in the middle of the actual tour,
which is pretty. Like all those fans, like yourself, would have been pretty good.
Yeah, because when we went to see it, they had things saying like Jerry Halliwell would not be performing, so if you want a refund, you can have your money back. Because I think there were a lot of people with banners saying, "Where's Ginger?" Where's and I suppose especially for a lot of young. We were young back then.
Yeah,
14,
you don't understand.
14 years and under. It's devastating, but I mean, fair play to the girls. They did well as a 4-piece, and they carried on for a little bit longer. They had a few more singles after. I think Jerry left at the right time, I think, because they were all talking about solo careers. Like Mel B had a number one a couple of months after anyway. While they were still finishing the tour, they both got pregnant. When they did their last date of the tour, Victoria and Mel B were actually dancing on stage pregnant.
Wow, amazing.
David Beckham with Victoria, and then Mel B married one of the dancers. She was Mel G for a bit because she.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so she married one of her dancers. So I think they took a bit of time out anyway, and then they all did the solo songs. All of them bar Victoria have had a solo UK number one.
I blame that on Dame Bowers.
Yeah, she had a few good. I mean, her album's quite obscure. Yeah. Like she had a few good tracks off there. Like
fair enough. Maybe it's just the wrong ones for singles. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like because they did a reunion tour. Because they did get back together. Obviously, they had a reunion tour.
Yeah, they did do.
In the 2000s, where Jerry came back as a 5-piece.
Yeah.
And that they did a tour and they did their solo songs on the tour. Apart from Victoria, who did a RuPaul's Work cover girl the song, and she just strutted up and down the stage with hard tears. But again, she made her career out of that. I mean, the Spice Girls started off, but she's a dynasty in herself.
Yeah, she's her own kind of universe.
And I know she's a lot of people's favourite. Everyone loves Victoria. And I think she gets like a lot of people like it. Yeah.
Does she get a lot of flack as well, though? Do you think?
No, I don't think so, because I think like she's like she's an identity in herself, isn't she? Like we'll talk about probably in the film, the Gucci dress and the black dress, and she ran with that. And fair play to her, like she has amassed a business out of herself and David together, like collectively. So, and actually, like I said, net worth of the Spice Girls is around 400 million. Wow. She's worth at least 200 that herself. So,
fair enough, yeah.
They've all done well, and I think, they should all be very proud of what they've done. And like I said, they're still continuing to do it.
It's really like I'm so glad I got you on to talk about this, because this is, again, something I don't know that much about, I'm not that aware of, but this is why I like having guests like you on, because it kind of opens my eyes to stuff I've not seen and not experienced, like the movie or the music, or their kind of backstory. I had no idea all these kind of facts and figures that you've been spelling out. It's amazing.
Because like the sales, they're so reflective. And like I said, they did well in America. Like, no girl group had ever done that before. And British acts don't tend to do very well in America. So to get a #1 album and a #1 single in America at that time, and again, they were massive over there. And again, everyone in America fed into Spice World as well, and got into the Spice Girls. I think for me, it's more feelings. I think, and again, there probably is a bit of nostalgia there. Like for some people, the music probably hasn't stood the test of time. People probably can't even stand the Spice Girls, but it's emotive for me, and it does bring. Like,
well, it was a like you say, it was a transformative part of your life.
Yeah,
you were becoming who you were going to be.
It was a time in my life
and
where
that kind of assisted you.
I was kind of growing into the person I wanted to be. Gary Spice. So like, it helped me form who I am today, and it was just a very happy time in my life, and I remember being very positive and very vibrant, and everything was like and it was fun, and again, like my mum was like I changed a lot then, because I went from being this quiet, shy boy to dyeing my hair bright blonde. I got my ears pierced. Yeah. Again, I came out. So I think that's the nostalgia thing. And I was quite naughty. I went out when I was young. I started going out when I was 15.
Oh, I went out. First club I went to, I was 13.
Oh, okay. Well, you're worse than me.
I'm naughtier.
My mum used to, she said, I can go out as long as I'm home by, it's so early now, as long as I'm home by midnight. Which, to be fair, when you're 14, is quite good. My mum was really nice. My sister was
I told my parents I was going out as well. I didn't just go out while I was 13.
Oh, no, I was quite honest. My sister was a tearaway. And my mum basically went, if you like her, then you're not going out. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll be good.
Yeah, you've got to behave.
And again, it just, as a young gay person going into that, obviously in Manchester we have a gay village here. And it was about, again, finding a sense of community. And I was 15 and I was going to these gay bars and I was drinking WKDs and I was feeling all grown up, and the Spice Girls were playing. And again, at that time, they introduced so many other bands. Like over here, we had bands like Steps.
Yeah.
S Club
7.
All Saints. They spawned a
Bewitched.
whole... Bewitched. Gosh, we all love that double denim. as I'm wearing double denim. Exactly. So, and all that music, and it was just in that era, and I think that's why the Spice Girls mean a lot for me, because it just reminds me of that time when I was super happy and I was super calm. I am now. Yeah. You know what I mean? As a young person coming out, and as a teenager, not even coming out, as a teenager and as a young person, finding who you are and becoming yourself, it just helped scope who I am. And like I said, I loved all the Spice Girls, but that's why I had a thing for Jerry, because Jerry Halliwell helped
me. She kind of epitomised
what
you want to be and what you were looking for.
She was the person I aspired to be. Yeah. Like a lot of probably young girls and a lot of guys, there was always that one who you wanted to be like. Yeah. And she was mine, so the Spice Girls helped me become who I am today, really.
Yeah, that's
and
really
again,
nice.
I still know that I can do every single dance right now. I know the lyrics. I'm not going to. I know every single...
We'll have a YouTube channel, I'll get you back.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, deal.
Teach me all the dances.
But I can still remember every dance. I can remember every lyric. I can remember outfits. Last year they had all the outfits.
Okay.
There was a gallery where you could go around and look at all the costumes and stuff. And yeah, because my sister likes them as well, and I took her to this thing, and she was like, I don't remember that. And I was like, that was in the Istanbul concert, that was when they made an appearance on Top of the Pops, that was so, just, when I think back now, I talk to people, and I'm like, gosh, you sound like a super fan, and I'm like, well, I'm not, because I don't have clippings of, newspaper articles, I'm surprised I don't have a tattoo, because obviously, you can't see, but I'm covered in tattoos.
Absolutely covered, head to toe.
But then, because I was thinking about obviously doing this, and then I was like, I always wanted to get on the Viva Forever video, they had these, obviously because Jerry left, I think they were doing whatever, so they had these animatronic...
I imagine that made you cry as well.
The Viva Forever video, the Viva Forever song brings a tear to my eye, because again, Jerry left as they were releasing that song, and the whole kind of...
It's kind of a little melancholy, isn't it? It's kind of like...
It is. It was like, Viva Forever, we're going to keep going, live forever for the moment, the words, and...
Girl power isn't dead, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, and it kind of felt like a bit like, not that it was, but I think something changed then.
Yes, it shifted. It became a different
because,
thing.
they had Goodbye, that was released at Christmas, and that was obviously Goodbye to Jerry. And then they did release another album called Forever in 2000s. It wasn't as well received. And again, I think they were putting more emphasis on their solo careers. I know Mel C didn't even attend any of the recording sessions.
Really?
And it was done separate. So I think by that point, it was kind of running its course. And I think we were in 2000 now, and I think things have changed. And
I think the music industry just does change quite dramatically. Like, just when you think the public wants something,
it changes.
All of a sudden, they want something else.
Well, because R&B was coming through, wasn't it? Because then again, girl groups like Destiny's Child,
huge.
And they were still late 90s. But
even Pink was R&B.
Yeah, because their first album was very R&B inspired. So I think R&B was definitely the way it was going in the early 2000s. A lot of people wearing silver suits because we all had to be space age, didn't we? So I think, things were shifting. I think Spice Girls' third album was a bit more R&B orientated. They worked with a lot of American producers.
Fair enough.
And again, it was a style that was different.
Yeah. But you do, that's the thing is, like, it's hard, I think it's hard when you have a specific sound, but your sound does have to change over time. Because if you just keep doing that same stuff, people go, well, it's the same thing you did. I would just listen to your old album. But then sometimes when you do change, people are like, well, it's not like your old stuff, so I hate it.
But I think in every career in like music industry, there's always that epitome of an album or an era where everyone, loves an artist.
Yeah,
for that
it's
thing.
like a Fleetwood Mac Rumours.
And again, when we look at the stats of how much they made and the sales, that was in 2 years.
Wow.
Like, over the space of 2 years, they had 2 albums, and it was just a whirlwind. And I think, like Jerry had said to them previously, we're going to do this for 2 years, guys, and then we're going to call it quits.
But I think that's, like, quitting when the getting is good is quite a good thing to do. You don't want to gamble your career or you don't want to kind of slide down a slope. So I think that was quite good of Jerry to do that and to make that kind of business model and go, 2 years, that's it, we're done. That's it. We can close that off. We're not going to have this slide that, like Oasis or something would have,
Oh, controversial. They're still going now.
The
brothers are going.
Yeah, the brothers are
going.
But they did, like, you could say that, like, there was a documentary I watched recently where they were, I think they were performing at Silverstone or somewhere like that, and that was, like, the height. And then from then, they did a few other albums, a few other things, but they kind of started really falling apart. I mean, it depends on, I don't know much about music, but that's what I've got from other people and from the information I have. But there are a lot of those bands that kind of just slide and, they try doing different things, doesn't necessarily work, and they slide even further. And you're like, oh, well, if it was more like the glory days, or they should have stopped there, or they do it with films as well. Films change, like people want a different kind of Batman or a different kind of this.
But again, I think they've stood the test of time because, like I said, they toured this year.
Yeah. You went to see them, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, so I went to see it.
And how were they? Were they good?
They were great. They were amazing. Like, they filled up the stadium, it was sold out, the whole tour was sold out. It was great. It was... I think I did shed a tear at one point. I don't think. I know I did. But
I'll be honest, this is the most emotional I've seen you. I think most of the time you're dead inside.
I am. So this is all the spice. When Jerry left, that's what happened. I died inside. And then when she came back, I was like...
You just like a stone heart husk.
Hugging my Union Jack tea towel.
What happened to Jerry?
But that's why, because I like that she kind of did her own thing. And again, I liked Jerry as a person.
Yeah.
I liked who she was. And the thing is, the values that she had as Ginger Spice, she was still had as a person. And I think when you hear her talk, she talks a lot.
Yeah.
And she's
I never really thought, like, when I'm thinking back, like, I remember Jerry as being quite bolshy and ballsy. That's more kind of like Scary Spice. She was more kind of loud and
She was loud and raw.
Yeah, she was like, in your face. Yeah, and like, she is, like, even in the film, she comes across as, like, she's very eloquent, she's very educated. And obviously they're all very educated, but they play to their kind of stereotype. And they even make jokes about being stereotyped and stuff within the film.
Again, I think I have a bias. Like I said, they all, I'm sure you could get someone else who will talk about how amazing Mel B is. And she was,
sure.
I have much respect for all of them. I have respect for people that want to go and do things that they want to do.
Yeah.
I have respect for women that are empowered and, they believe in themselves and, and again, they fed into that. So I have much respect for each one individually. Victoria, like we said, she's done amazingly well. They've all done well in their own right. And like I said, I think it's a credit to them that they have stood the test of time. And they are fixed now, iconically, in British culture. Like the Olympics in 2012, they got back together and they came out on top of Taxis. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how British can you be?
Yeah, that's true.
And again,
that's
when we talk about the film, it's like embedded in like British, like London.
Yeah,
you know, I think they were very proud from being from the UK. Yeah, I think they make me. Yeah, I'm proud of them girls. They probably don't care that I'm proud, but I'm very proud of them girls that they did a lot. For
I think they'd be very proud of you, Gary. I think the effect they had on you and how like your story is quite. You know, it's a very touching story. It's probably the most touching story I've had on this silly podcast.
Joey, if you're listening, I really want to meet you.
Gary, they would make Gary's life.
You would literally.
It would make Gary's life.
You would make me cry more than I cried before.
But I think it's a really it's really amazing to hear somebody who's such a fan of something and somebody and the effects that it's had on you. Like, I can talk about, being bullied and like I can see, relating to Spider-Man and stuff, but and that's my own personal journey and that's my own thing. But like I would have been like in my day, I would be like, oh, Spice Girls, not really my thing. I mean, like I said, I'm not the demographic they're going after, but like looking back on them now, I appreciate them kind of retroactively what they did and how they made changes and in pop culture, Britain, feminism, all these different things. But it's really nice to hear someone's kind of growing up and growing through that and transforming and being influenced and inspiring someone to become who they're going to be and becoming a great person like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
So, on that note, on that lovely, beautiful, touching note, let's talk about the movie.
Finally, yeah, we should. Everyone tuned in. They're like, "What about the film?"
They're like, we know about the Spice Girls. Thanks. We are fans of the Spice Girls. We know those stats and statistics as well. Let's talk about the film. So, it's a film.
It's a film. I mean. Yeah,
it's very much in the kind of vein of those kind of Hard Day's Night, kind of the Monkees, those kind of wacky films that just kind of feature the band.
It's satire. Yeah, it's a parody of themselves.
Yes, definitely.
It fed into the characters, the baby, sporty, scary ginger posh. It's that. It's kind of essentially that. It's not apologetic at how bad it is. I don't think. And I think even now they would say like it's great.
It's fun. It's definitely it's a fun romp. I'd say not all the kind of the jokes work or all the characters like so many cameos though. I think everybody wanted to be involved in this film because they love the Spice Girls, love what they're doing. You've got Elton John in there, Bob Hoskins, Richard O'Brien, Dame Edna.
Jennifer Saunders,
Elvis Costello, the list goes on. It's crazy.
Duffy from Casualty.
What's his face from The Wire? Dominic something. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
He's got a very brief part. Michael Barrymore.
We won't talk about
a few of the controversial. One controversial cameo was cut. We won't go into that though. I'm sure you can guess what it is. Go on the IMDb. It'll tell you. Just go on the IMDb.
You'll know when you hear the song.
Yeah. There's one of the songs that that is not their song, but yeah, you'll get the idea. Anyway, do you where would you rate this in if all the films you've probably seen? Is this like a guilty pleasure or?
I mean, it's not guilty. Not at all.
I love it.
No, I mean, it is what it says on the tin. I mean, I'm not going to stand. I mean, I love the Spice Girls, but I'm not going to say it's the best film that's ever been made. Like I said, I'm pretty much sure they would say it's not either. But again, they were like this marketing machine, and they just were like, you know what? Let's just do a film.
Why not?
And they just did it.
If Cliff Richard can do a film on being on a bus, why not?
He did numerous films.
He did. So, we're all going on a summer holiday.
No, it was tragic. But it's Spice World was tragic.
I don't think it's tragic. It
was tragically great. It's one of them films that are so bad they're amazing.
I think it'd be a guilty pleasure for me. I know it's not maybe a guilty pleasure for you, but if I saw it again, I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch it. It's an hour and a half, and it'll fly by. I hope it was an hour and a half.
You say that the end when it came to the end, you went, "Is that it?"
I was like, "Is there not more?" It's very I think with a lot of kind of musical films or music films, where it's pretty much just their songs back to back or the performances are back to back. The stories are always a bit thin. I watched Grease 2 recently, and
one of the best films ever.
I'll tell you what, Grease 2 is better than Cats. I will say that hands down.
I mean, especially after seeing the new Cats.
Yeah, that new trailer looks horrendous. But I never really liked the musical. It's a lot of wanky actors doing Cats, cat acting. I just and,
James-
and I'm a wanky actor, so it must be pretty wanky if I hate it.
And James Corden as a cat does not look good.
No, and Jason Derulo.
I mean, if he's in the film, it ain't going to be that good.
Nah, true.
No offense, Jason.
No offense, Jason. Yeah, but we're not looking forward to that, and we won't be watching it. But I saw my friend showed me the stage show a few years ago, and there was a behind the scenes video before they released the trailer. They released the behind the scenes, and they were like, "Yeah, this narrative," and I was like, "There's no fucking narrative."
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, I just kind of thought it was like an in the works trailer. Like I didn't realise this is what you're going to see.
No, you should have just watched the behind the scenes. There's a behind the scenes one where they're interviewed about it, and you can see them without the CG. But then the other trailer has all the horrible CG.
I'd rather watch vines or funny videos of cats, to be honest.
Yes, actual cat videos. Yeah. Anyway, so we're diverging. So, what is the plot, Gary, of Spice World? You can try and nail that down for me.
The plot is essentially about the Spice Girls. It's essentially them getting to their gig on time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about them being at the peak of their career. They're about to perform in the Albert Hall.
Working very hard, tight schedules.
Doing the biggest concert of their career so far. And it's about a journalist, essentially, who's there to bring them down, to ruin their career and to get the band to break up before it gets to their gig.
Right.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, roughly, yeah. I think that's probably the best description of the plot we could possibly gather.
I mean, I'm sure there's
between the two of us.
Subplots.
There are subplots. There's there's Alan Cummings in it.
Yeah,
and he plays a documentary filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he's trying to kind of capture the most intimate part of the Spice Girls, get to their real truth.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty, serious
documentary.
What's at the heart of the Spice Girls?
Who are the Spice Girls? What's their past? Let's see them cry, all this sort of stuff. And I really like Alan Cummings as actor, but this is the most kind of Spinal Tap element of the film, and for me it really didn't work. It's got a very bland character. They don't really do much. They just keep turning up and not being able to see the Spice Girls or talk to the Spice Girls.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely great to have him in it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Alan Cummings and I like him as an actor and performer, but I think, it was nice to have him in it.
I don't think he gave much. I think the film wouldn't have been worse off without him.
No, I think you could have cut that whole subplot out of it because it doesn't really do much with it. Even in the end, they're kind of like. I did quite like the kind of meta film narrative. So the kind of these studio guys are pitching a film to the manager.
But the film within the film.
Yeah, it's a film within a film, and it kind of in the finale is describing what's actually happening to the girls.
To actually make a film.
Yeah, and it's like, there's going to be a jump over the bridge. And then it's like, well, maybe not. And then they're going to turn up right now. And then Richard E. Grant stops strangling him, saying, "You lied!"
After watching it this time, I was like, he has the longest arms in the world because he goes to strangle his neck, and it's like whoosh, it's so long.
I was like, how? It was like Mr. Fantastic or something like
stretchy arms,
stretchy throat. Choking.
Yeah. I think out of all the actors they asked to come in, I think Richard E. Grant definitely embodied that crazy manager who was just spiraling into despair to try and do his job with all the everything that was just going against him all the time. He definitely embodied that character.
Yeah. I think Richard E. Grant is great at showing kind of stress and tension.
He has that vein, doesn't he?
And
his head.
And desperation, and he looks really wanky because he's got these horrible sideburns and this horrible
See, you think wanky? I actually quite like them.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They made his face look longer.
You look like one of the bloody Giuseppe twins from EastEnders.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Back in the day. Those horrible little, those kind of weird
lines.
Yeah, just I mean, we both got very handsome beards, and I don't think I could style my beard anywhere near that without accidentally cutting it off and ruining the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just so like those really thin tashes, those Ali G type beards. I can never do those. But yeah, I love Richard E. Grant in pretty much everything I see him in.
Yeah, he's a formidable actor, isn't he? I think.
And I think he was a really good kind of energy to bring in to kind of match the Spice Girls' kind of crazier, wackier energy.
Yeah, but he was like the crazy as in going insane crazy.
Yeah, so he's like a negative crazy, but they're just like, yay, let's do fun
things. I think it was
things.
negative to the point of getting the job done and getting them to where they needed to be.
Yeah,
it wasn't negative as in he was bad.
I don't think he was like an evil guy, but he was just super stressed out.
Yeah.
Roger Moore, he's the guy in charge, isn't he?
With the riddles.
Yeah, he's got all these kind of weird phrases and sayings and idioms, and he's constantly stroking a pig.
Yeah, it goes from a cat, and then a
Yeah,
pig.
becomes a pig. They were like, no, it's better if it's a pig. I think they were obviously quite obviously alluding to the kind of James Bond
definitely.
and stuff. And there's even a bit where Posh dresses up as Honey Lemon from Doctor No. She's got like the bikini and the blonde hair and the knife. Yeah, and she's like shaking or stirred.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where he's like, I think Richard E. Grant's saying, I don't want to stir anything up, and Roger Moore's making a cocktail. He's shaking the cocktail, and he's like, it doesn't need to be stirred. And I was like, oh, that's quite a clever little pun. But yeah, that's. He's kind of like this weird supervillain, but again, nothing really happens with him. He's just like,
essentially, like, you've got Richard O'Brien, who's the undercover reporter who's there. To
my lookalike.
Yeah, he is without the beard.
Without the beard. I could look a little creep. I could do a creepy O'Brien. I could definitely
creepy O'Brien.
Creepy O'Brien. That's his nickname.
He does that character quite well. I think he's there to bring down the Spice Girls to. Put them in scenarios that give negative press. Ideas. And again,
they twist. I mean, that's quite modern, kind of modern fake news.
Well, it was reflective of what was going on with the Spice Girls, because obviously they were riding high on this wave. And
so everyone wanted to pull them down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously don't want to lose to Jerry, but she had the topless pictures that came out.
Yeah.
And again, a family-friendly band, these young girls look up to these women, and then, you got Jerry on the front page with her boobs out.
Yeah.
Great boobs.
They're
amazing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like jokes about we should stop like being our stereotypes and they all look at like their kind of stereotypical thing. Jerry looks directly at her chest and covers her chest.
Yeah,
up.
And then when the child's
in the coma,
bed, and then he's like, "Why don't you show your boobs?" And it's like, "Well, he can't see because her eyes are shut." And then he just opens his eyes.
Yeah, it's like, "Well, I'm not in a coma anymore."
Yeah, and the dad looks very happy as well.
To be fair, like if I was in a coma, if I was a teenage boy in a coma, if someone said that, I probably would wake up. Fair enough. Hormones and everything. But the dads. There's a lot of kind of alluding to it, but like it's fun. It's not tongue-in-cheek. It's not creepy or weird or maybe some bits.
I think they knew adults were going to come and see this film as well as kids, and kids aren't going to get the innuendo jokes. They're just going to see the Spice Girls and enjoy that. So I think it definitely tailored to a bit of crude humour, but not in a.
There's kind of it's kind of like a Shrek. Like you're making some of it's quite blatant. I think even as a child you would probably children aren't stupid. They can pick up on innuendo and stuff. But I think some of that was a bit. It's not as subtle as a Shrek, but kind of there was elements of that. But what surprised me, like all the acting from the girls is quite over the top. Like Sporty Jerry, Baby, and Mel B as well. Scary. Did I say Scary? It's already said Scary. Sporty Scary, Baby, and Jerry. But Victoria's acting is actually...
Victoria was amazing.
She's actually quite good at acting. And I was like, that was the one person I thought would be the weak link.
I think she was just quite being good at being herself. She really played up to the parody of Victoria, Posh Spice.
But it wasn't over the top.
It was just her.
It was just kind of,
it was her.
It was more naturalistic than all the other girls. Like, her performance doesn't match the others, but it's more genuine.
And I think she definitely has some of the best one-liners.
Oh, easily,
the little Gucci dress. It's silk. It's dry clean only when she falls in the water.
Oh God, yeah. And the bit where they're doing the army training.
Oh, see, that's my best part of the whole film. Like Victoria, there's a bit where Michael Barrymore, he's an army instructor. He's a dance instructor, so they go for like an army boot camp workout. So all the other girls are climbing over obstacles, falling in water, and Victoria's just there in a Gucci army dress, high heels, just strutting all the way down, not doing one bit of the exercises.
I mean, she is working it. She's totally working it.
I mean, she did that workout, but she worked it. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably quite muddy as well.
So she probably walk in heels on grass.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's quite a skill.
She probably like to not sink into the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've done that not even in heels. I've just gone, straight in.
I mean, it gave us, strength and courage in a wonder bra.
Strength and courage in a wonder bra. What a phrase.
Exactly. Again, timeless. People say that now. Like, people do say that now. I've had people say like that line to me when I said the Spice Girls.
You know what? I've never. Is that in one of the songs? Is it in one of?
It's just in one of the quotes when. It's the bit that they're singing when.
Yeah, so I'd never heard that, so I thought maybe the way you said it was like maybe it was kind of like more like in one of the more iconic songs.
And again, they focus on good part, like Bob Hoskins. Jerry Halliwell turns to Bob Hoskins. Yeah, it's like equalisation of the sexes.
Girl
power.
Very much. And that's Bob Hoskins saying it as Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry as Bob. Wonder Woman. Bob.
Yeah. I thought they were fun. There's like I genuinely laughed at stuff. So it's not like, oh my god, this is dire, horrible comedy. There is stuff to laugh at. It's stuff to have fun with. Can we talk about the sixth Spice Girl? The pregnant spice.
Yeah. Non-entity spice.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think she was the human element. She was the non-celebritarian element.
So it was. I guess it was trying to kind of ground them in reality.
Yeah, I think she was like the other girls that found fame. They were, they were still being themselves, but I think they were busy doing world tours, doing photo shoots and stuff. Where she was this pregnant woman who followed them around.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm your friend, and they're like,
until we leave you.
Mel B went so Yorkshire. She was like, I was baby. Baby. And I was just like, oh God.
Although I felt sorry for her. Because the amount of times that she just left her, like, what's it? They went to a club and this guy goes up to the friend and goes, who are you? And she's like, I'm a nobody. And then just leaves.
Yeah, she went, he was like, are you part of the Spice World or something? Or Spice Girl posse or whatever? And she goes, no, I'm nobody. And he goes, I need to go over there now. And he walks over there, and then she just leaves.
Yeah.
And none of the girls chase after her. None of the girls say anything to her. None of the girls question why she's left. She's kind of upset herself by saying she was a nobody. Like, no one else has said she's a nobody.
I know, bless her.
But then later she comes back, and
they take her to a club.
They go to the gay bar. It's like Ministry of Sound. And they're dance, and then the girls are like, "We're going to go dance."
To our own song.
And she's like, "Oh, this is our song. We've got to dance to it." And then she's like, "Okay." And then she's like, just stood up there, kind of like she's dressed like just like an average, but like not someone who goes clubbing.
Yeah.
It's just like and then all of a sudden the waters break, and the girls barely notice, and eventually she's like keeled over, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's pregnant."
Yeah, but then they get her to the hospital. Then you got the dramatic bus journey where they get her to the hospital.
Oh yeah, got to get her on time. Is Posh right? That's Posh driving the bus.
Yeah, in heels.
Yeah, because normally Meatloaf is driving.
Yeah, exactly.
He's driving the bus. And he goes, "That's my bus."
I mean, only Victoria can drive a bus in heels.
I don't think anyone's allowed to. I think there's a law against that.
But we're in Spice World. You can
sorry. It's a universe. There's laws unto themselves. But yeah, but then they get to and they kind of have the baby, and no, that was it. They're on the bus, and they're like, oh, keep it in. Like there's Jerry screaming at her vagina, going, we're not ready for you yet. And then there's a bit where Mel B was like, one of them says, put your legs together, and Mel B's like, she should have thought about that 9 months ago. I was like, fucking hell, all right. That's a bit.
And then they're like, it's not going to come out because the tights are still on.
I was like, yeah. I was like, have you just slut shamed your friend?
Yeah.
You shouldn't really be doing that. There is a few. Yeah, there are a few. Like with any old film, though, there are a few moments where you're like,
is this PC?
Yeah, maybe this wouldn't fly now. But
but in the 90s.
I know we're talking like 20 years ago now. Aren't we? Like, over 20 years.
It's so scary when you say it like that.
Yeah, it's old. Old, like we're old.
Okay,
ancient,
you're old.
Ancient, we're ancient. It's still fun. What are the kind of parts I want to talk about? There's the guy, the dancing men in that. They go to, is it Malia or Madrid?
Oh yeah,
they do like
Spanish.
Yeah, the Spanish, and they're doing like a video, and then they all come out, and they're all like these basically oiled up dudes, kind of dancing, and they're like, "No, we can't have this. This is totally inappropriate." And then they put them in these like pink tuxedos.
Yeah,
and Richard E. Grant's saying, "Oh, we had a compromise."
And what was the compromise? Chapless pants.
And then all the girls are like,
just stood around,
kind of like, okay, sure. And then the guy who's like really fighting for like the nudity of the men is surrounded by loads of women. Just
this is good.
Okay, I don't know if he's like maybe they're his beard or something. Maybe I don't know.
But again, they played on the characters because why they were taking a break. Like Emma Bunton as Baby Spice, she's talking about how many teddies and things she has on her bed, so she hasn't got any room for a dancer to join her.
Sorry, you can't. Do you reckon he said, "Let's," he made a pass, and then she's like, "Well, no, I've got Woody, Buzz." I mean, Woody and Buzz might be like different types of toys for all we know.
Oh, come on, it's babies. It's Emma Bunton. We don't
she's bloody 20 at least in that film. We
don't have to think about that.
Well, she's had kids, what I mean?
But she was only like 18, 19 back then.
That's still above.
La.
Yeah, I don't think you want to think about Gary. I don't think you want to think about any of them having sex.
No, I don't mind thinking about them having sex. I just don't want you to ruin the baby spices.
Well, every baby grows up.
Well, we all expect Mel B and Jerry to be at it. Like we.
Oh right, so we can't. So...
Well, we all know about the whole scandal recently of Jerry Halliwell and Mel B having relations.
Oh.
Jerry...
actually, tell me more about that. I don't think I've heard about this.
So Mel B was on Parkinson, UK chat show. No, not Parkinson. What's it called?
Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross is in this as well.
No, what's the guy that everyone hates on morning TV?
Oh, Piers Morgan.
That's the one. Yeah. Gosh, I only watched it recently as well. Yeah.
Got it in one.
Got it in three. So it was his chat show, and Mel B kind of alluded that her and Jerry had intimate relations while they were in the Spice Girls, which everyone was so shocked about. But I'm sure they've mentioned it in the past.
Yeah,
I know they've, they were like, we're girls, we've hung out together, we've spent time. I think again, Jerry's like a lady now, so I think it was promoting that. I wasn't like that back in the day, but. Yeah, it was all kind of controversial because it came out, as controversial as you want it to be. A bit late for the controversy, but that all came out recently that, Mel B and Jerry got it on, so,
I mean, again, it's not really that controversial to me.
And I wasn't even shocked about it. I thought it had already happened, so...
Yeah. There you go. Well, I'm sure, I think it was like the Kevin Spacey scandal. They were like, oh, he's come out as gay. I was like, but he was always gay.
Yeah, I thought we just knew this.
All the horrible shit he's done. I'm sure he came out as gay before, or but maybe because I was kind of in the acting kind of sphere that I knew he was gay without him officially stating it in the public. I don't know. Are there any parts of the film, any other parts you want to talk about, or that you really like, or that you don't like?
No, I think collectively it was great. I mean, I love the tagline for the film is they don't just sing, and boy, don't they!
And they don't really act either.
But again, the film. So the film was written by Simon Fuller, the manager's wife. And again, apparently, she didn't let the Spice Girls look at the script till they were really doing it.
That doesn't surprise me.
But I think it was more to get a bit more of them. I think it was just basically, here's the kind of outline of what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You just kind of go, because I mean, I think definitely when you were watching it, you just felt like you were hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And it was just, you felt, I didn't feel like I was watching, but I just felt like I was watching them.
Yeah.
As how they would
be. I think there's some scenes where I think they just let them run riot. I think we're just going to turn the camera on. Like when they're trying on the outfits and stuff, and pretending to be each other, and they're pretending to be famous, like Marilyn Monroe and Jackie Kennedy and all those other kind of things.
Yeah, and they dressed up, and Mel C pretending to be Jerry Halliwell. They all pretended to be each other.
I think Emma Bunton plays Mel B.
No, she was Victoria. Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, because she said
and Sporty was Victoria. Yeah, that was what I said. We were watching it. I said she looks like the Bo Selector version of Mel B.
Yeah.
Oh, me grips.
She did. Yeah, she pretty much did that. Yeah.
She did. Yeah, and that was funny. And I think Sporty was Victoria. Mel B was Jerry, and I can't remember.
They were all I think the most random part of the film was the aliens.
Oh God, yeah. Why did I mention that? Yeah. The toilets bust.
Yeah.
They go out into the kind of wilderness. Meatloaf has a great line. They're like, why have all the toilets broken, Meatloaf? Why have all the toilets broken? And he's like...
And the manager's like, will you fix it?
Yeah, will you fix it? And he's like, I'll do anything for these girls.
But I won't do
that. What a great line.
So yeah, they end up in the woods, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this big UFO comes down, and then there's just these little aliens that...
So I'll describe the aliens. They've got massive hands. Massive hands.
Yeah.
Tiny heads, troll-like hair, if you remember Trolls. There was a movie out the other day. Spiky-haired trolls, like if you twist it. And like a Dracula cape.
Yeah, like a big high-up cape that comes up behind
their faces are like shrunken heads.
Yeah,
they look kind of like that.
Shiny.
And they're speaking in a language that the Spice Girls understand.
Yeah, so I love the fact that there's subtitles for us to understand it, but the Spice Girls know exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, they just literally land to see if they can come to the concert. Like,
pretty much,
have you got tickets?
Yeah, by the way, you're the Spice Girls, yes. And then one of them asks for a kiss, and they're like, right, Jerry, you're the most sexually adventurous of us. Of all of us, you do it. You kiss the weird alien, and it's like,
yeah. And then it's like, can I have your autograph? Is that free?
You know what, girls? You could have said no.
Yeah,
you could. Yeah. You can always say no.
But again, I think it was like, let's just throw everything in, and see what we can get away with. And I think they just did. Whatever.
Yeah. I think they threw everything at the wall to see what sticks, but it just happened that everything stuck.
Just stuck, yeah.
But yeah, it's.
But again, it was parody, and I think they definitely set themselves up to take the mick out.
There's definitely the chemistry between all the girls is great. I do think they really get on. You can tell there's a lot of love there, and they care about each other genuinely, and they're having, and you can see they're having fun, and that comes across. It's not pretend fun. Yeah. They're actually having fun.
Yeah, I think it is. It was just an extension of themselves. I mean, obviously there was acting as
yeah, of course. Air quotes. Yeah. Gary is doing air quotes when he says acting.
But yeah, it was just more of them. I like the bit where we were talking about the speedboat with the kid. He was just seasick the whole time.
There's this kid. There's two competition winners get to kind of hang out with the Spice Girls for a little bit, and they go off and they're like, "We're gonna have some fun on a speedboat," and they're all dancing, they're singing. I think it's like "My Boy Lollipop," and all they're singing that. And there's one kid in the middle, the boy, and they're all kind of dancing around, and he looks like he's not really dancing or enjoying it.
He just looks like he's clinging on.
And he's holding their hands, and they're like, and he looks a bit off. And I was just thinking, they're all surrounding him. He doesn't look right. He's like, we can see him, like the circle's open enough for us to see him, but he just doesn't look that comfortable. He's not dancing. He's not really looking at them.
He just looks green, doesn't he?
And they're looking directly at him, and I'm like, he's seasick. He's got to be seasick.
Yeah, he did not look comfortable.
Yeah, and I imagine that's not him being thrown from the speedboat.
Like just hurling to the side to throw up. I love the bit as well where Victoria's just sat there looking so unimpressed by everything that's going on around her. I think again. We have the bus. The bus is iconic.
Yeah.
It's got the Union Jack on.
Exactly, and a big peace sign on the back.
Yeah, so the bus is essentially Jerry Halliwell's dress from the Brit Awards.
Yeah, pretty much.
It had the peace sign on the back.
And they've got Spice on the top as well.
The Spice bus. I mean, it's still around now. You can actually stay as a hotel.
I mean, nowadays I think the Spice bus would be some sort of drug parlour.
Oh yeah, especially around here. Yeah, but no, it's a hotel. You can stay on it now.
Yeah, that's cool. It reminded me back in most people won't remember this, but. Back in the 90s, they had like a McDonald's party bus in Blackpool, and you would basically have the birthday party on there, and you would go upstairs, and there's like where you sit down, you have all your McDonald's, and there's party games, and I think there's some like bars and stuff you could swing on. But it reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah, not in a good way though.
No, probably not. No.
That bus is pretty creepy.
It's very TARDIS like.
Well, yeah, because I said that to you because like the bus is just a bus, like a double-decker bus on the outside, but then on the inside. It's literally huge. It's like it doubles in size.
It is massive. I would happily live on that bus for the rest of my life.
And I don't know if you noticed because I didn't mention it when we were watching it, but like each bit of the bus was a segment dedicated towards them.
So their room.
Yeah, because Emma Bunton had a swing for Baby Spice, and then obviously Victoria had the closets with all the clothes and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they had like a bit that kind of reflected each of their characters.
I mean, I wonder what Emma Bunton's been up to with that swing as well. I mean, you never know.
Again, don't ruin it.
I'm ruining the innocent fans of all the Spice Girls. No,
she's lovely. She's still just as gentle and as nice as she was back then.
Yes, I'm sure she is, but she might still like a bit of the other.
And again, I think the film was very much a plug for the UK as well, wasn't it? Because it was like this Union Jack bus, and it went past every site in London you could see. So I suppose if it's been seen around the world, you got Buckingham Palace.
I'm sure. Did they do like a promotional tour with the bus? Do you think?
Yeah, they did. Well, I think they did. I'm sure they
must have done.
I remember when
it makes absolute logistical sense.
Well, this is how the film when they originally said it was coming out, they arrived at speedboats in Cairns. So Cairn Film Festival, big massive festival.
Wow.
Spice Girls rock up in white suits to launch the fact that they are doing Spice World.
Amazing. Yeah. That is you know what? That's kind of rock and roll.
And that's ballsy.
Yeah, that is ballsy.
Girls with balls.
Because Cannes is a very, hoity-toity affair. It can be very, what have you. As a film festival, it's very artsy. But the fact that they kind of rock up and just we're doing a film, suck it, Cannes, and then drive off.
And it was watched shown all over the world. I did get, there's just a few little stats I got for this.
Sure.
Just, again, to put the film in context.
Yeah, sure.
It's released on Boxing Day here in the UK on the 26th of December. I remember going to see it at the cinema, actually.
I imagine that's a good tie for Christmas #1 as well.
Well, yeah, because Too Much was second UK #1, so yeah.
Cross-promotion.
Yeah, exactly, same time. 2 million opening weekend.
Wow.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. What was the budget for the film, do you know?
it wasn't a lot.
I can sort of tell.
I think
if you look at the aliens, you can definitely tell.
I think it was like 200. Don't quote me on this again.
Yeah.
I think it was like 200,000 something, even less.
If we're wrong, guys, like message us.
Apologies. Yeah. In America, it was released a bit later on. It was released more into the new year in '97. It was released over the Super Bowl weekend.
Okay, cool.
It made $10 million in America, and it broke records for the highest debut of a Super Bowl weekend film.
Wow, really?
So again, I mean, it's like
that is huge.
That was the power of Spice World. Like, that was the power of the Spice Girls.
The power of Spice World. Amazing.
I mean, in today's context, it probably
it's not the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything, but it's something. I want to have a quick... I got actually, surprisingly, I got quite a few comments about this particular podcast.
Okay.
From a few people, so I'd like to read those out before we finish. Got a few minutes yet, so I'm just going to get that up on my phone. So I've got a message from Ben Fenlon. He is of the Super Nerds UK podcast, and he does For the Love of Horror, which is
cool.
an event coming up, and he does a Facebook Live. Really big fan of the show, and I'm a big fan of him. And Dan Burgess knows him quite well. He was on the last guest, so they've got a little friendship as well. So he says, Spice World is genuinely one of my favourite guilty pleasure films. It's campy, hilarious, has a good soundtrack, the casting is ace, and to be fair, it came out at the height of their success.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse. When my band used to tour for our gig, for our rider, we requested a DVD copy of Spice World.
I love that.
So every show we'd request this. We never got it once. We used to watch it backstage a lot on a laptop. Nothing says rock and roll like Michael Barrymore teaching the Spice Girls how to dance.
That's amazing. I love that.
That's amazing. What an amazing story. Thanks for that, Ben. That's a brilliant comment. And I have to agree with him. It is all of those things that he's described.
Again, it is a guilty pleasure. I mean, I think it didn't do very well in the Razzies.
No, probably not.
I think it actually did really well in the Razzies. I think it cleaned up how
cleaned the
house.
Yeah. Cleaned out the Razzies. Fair enough. But there's even some good films that have been included in the Razzies, so fair enough.
It's an award.
To be honest, I don't think they were making that much money. They'd even bother to care. They wouldn't even care. So Dan Burgess, so I was just talking about him. He was on the show last week. He says, this was on Twitter. Ben's comment was on Facebook. So Dan says, I liked it in Wannabe when Ginger said, as for me, you'll see. Then we saw her nudie nudes came out. Whoopee! We did seed it all.
Yeah, it's funny actually to say that, because it wasn't Joey, but Mel B. If you watch the video, you can always see a nipple, because she wears this green booty.
Oh, right.
And I remember, I think it was my dad that said, he's like, you can see a nipple in the whole video, and I was like, and I always get drawn to her nipples.
Dad. Thanks for pointing that out, and you're ruining the Spice Girls, you're making them not innocent,
But the thing is, now I've said it, you'll all go and look, and you'll all know.
We're all going to watch Wannabe, just look out for that nipple, one nipple. Speaking of Super Bowls, reminds me of Janet Jackson,
Oh yeah,
nip slip.
Oh, don't get me started on Janet. I love Janet Jackson.
maybe we could do a Janet Jackson film next.
Oh my gosh, Janet Jackson film.
Yeah, I'm sure she's been in some films.
Has she?
Yeah, she's been in some films.
Yeah, she's been in a few actually.
Yeah,
not very good ones.
Well, we can always dive into your love of Janet via this film, just like this podcast. I think we spent more time. It's like the film's fine.
Yeah.
So yes. So another comment on Facebook from Howard Whittock. I've always had a soft spot. So I generally on Facebook and Twitter, I've asked, are you a fan? Do you have a favourite song? So these are all kind of responses from that question.
Yeah.
So I've always had a soft spot for Mel C. Probably because she's from Liverpool. I think Howard might be originally from Liverpool, not sure, maybe. Tell me, Howard, clarify it, but if you like Liverpudlians, then you're in. The last two comments are from Liverpudlians, so...
Again, we all have our favourites.
Exactly.
Mel C was a Scouse, so she was doing it for the Scousers.
Now, I'm keeping it in the family with this comment.
Oh, okay.
It is my sister, Sophie Brazier, on Instagram, at SophieB31, if you want to follow her. And Howard Whittock's on Facebook, and Dan Burgess is at Dan Burgess01, and Ben Fenlon is also on Facebook with Super Nerds UK and For the Love of Horror, because I forgot to mention those. But Sophie says, you forget the Spice Girl posters and wallpaper I had along with the tapes and an outfit for Sporty Spice. spice up your life.
Wallpaper.
Yeah, she had everything. She had it
Wow,
all.
that's
She had a video
crazy.
game. She had everything. So maybe that's my I kind of sort of absorbed it through
Your
my sister, I think. But it wasn't something I was going out of my way to find. I did remember her going to see the film. And I think they invited me, and I was like, "Nah, I don't want to watch that shit.
No.
I'll wait another 20 years."
And tapes. Even when you just say tapes nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Tapes.
Side
yeah,
A,
cassettes.
side B.
You know, I was talking earlier about the girl that I used to fancy and doing like the Spice Girl things. I wanted to do like a similar thing with like a boy group, and I wasn't really into music, so I bought a tape, and it was called. It's called Boys, Boys, Boys with a Z on it.
Oh dear.
And I was like, and I think some of my parents might have thought I was going to
I think
come
there might be more
out.
you'll be a homosexual.
Yes, I think that was. I think that's what was happening. They also thought I watched The Little Mermaid too much, so maybe they thought I was going to come out as well. But no, I am straight. Last time I checked, so. But that was. I wanted to do like a similar thing to kind of like
Boys with a Z.
Yeah, it was all just boy bands, collection of boy bands, like 3 tapes or something. Cassettes, guys. Tapes are, we used to. You imagine rewinding music.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that instead of just skipping and skipping back?
Yeah, because it used to have on the cassette. You used to have the time that each song was.
Yeah, that's right. You had to
the
forward it
time.
to the exact time, and then you had to get like a little pencil in there.
If the tape came out.
Yeah, unreeled. It's crazy.
Again, I used to love CDs and tapes because I used to love that thing. Again, like getting an album.
Yeah.
And having the cover and looking at the pictures
Yeah.
and then learning the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. I used to love that.
And then
as
all
well.
the artists used to have a
there's-
little bio and stuff.
And you have all sorts of facts and figures and
Yeah.
stuff, and I used to like to go into like HMV and what have you, and like find stuff.
Yeah,
like
I miss the
discover
days
stuff.
of rooting.
Yeah, like you find a film, you're like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'll get this.
I feel like we should bring them back. When we've had records, I definitely think we now need cassettes.
I think cassettes are coming back. I heard somebody said something the other day to me that cassettes are coming back. I think Dan last week on the podcast said they might be. So we'll see.
Bring
We'll
back
see.
cassettes, guys.
Yeah. So that's all the comments. I think we've said all we can about Spice World with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd talk more about my feelings of Spice Girls because there isn't much to say about Spice World apart from it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I think it's if you're looking for some campy, very 90s, very British English fun and silliness, and you're a fan of the Spice Girls, or you at least like the music, give it a watch. There's some great actors in it. There's some funny moments. There's some not so great moments in it as well. But generally, it's definitely not the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But I've had a lot of fun with this. I'm really glad I had you on. I'd like to have you on again in the future. We'll talk about
That'd be cool.
something, another film, or if you just let me know what you want to chat about.
You could just hear more about my life.
Yeah. just the biography of Gary.
Yeah, my biography's coming out in stores. I got an album coming out.
Well, you can save that for your own podcast.
I tease, I don't have any.
No problem. Well, I'm just going to let people know where they can find us on the social medias. So you can find this podcast and the page on Facebook at Secret Balls. You type that into the search bar. On Twitter at Dan_Balls. Instagram, it's SpiderDan Secret Balls, all one word. The podcast is available on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and many, many more.
Wow.
So, a lot of places. Thank you very much for coming, Gary.
No,
This has
great.
been really fun. I'm glad you took the time to come over and talk about Spice Girls, Jerry, and Spice World.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.